today I'm going to show you my new sort of art journal that I've got. I have been waiting on it for a while to arrive. I wanted to try these. I have seen ads for them and I was very curious to see what they were like. So this is my new square art journal. It is an Artway Studio brand. I got it from the UK. I had to wait a bit for it. And yeah, I wanted to try them. It was cheap and the paper quality is quite nice. It's quite thick. Yeah. So I'm going to see how this paper goes and fill this book full of nice sketches and sort of, yeah, probably finished pieces. Finished pieces will definitely go in here. And yeah, it's just, I really wanted a square sketchbook. I just have this fascination with different shaped papers other than the norm. So yeah, so the first illustration I want to do in this my new journal sketchbook is another Brothers Grimm fairy tale. Now we are up to the second one, Cat and Mouse in Partnership. So here's a picture that's in the book here, and there's the little mouse there. So I have a particular scene in mind that I wanted to do for this story in my new sketchbook, and yeah, I'm going to sketch it out today. Then while I am doing the drawing of that and everything in the speed paint, I will tell you a little bit about this story, and it is quite morbid. Okay, so a quick rundown of the story of the cat and mouse in partnership is that the cat and mouse have a lot of love and friendship for each other, so they agree to share a house together. They purchased for the winter some fat, so they could have a backup of food for the winter if they need to eat. And they stored it in the church under the altar to keep it safe. One day, the cat said to the mouse that he had to leave to go to a christening for her cousin's child. So, and she was going to be a godmother. So the mouse went, yep, that's all right, I'll look after everything in the house. So then the cat wasn't going to a christening. There was no cousin. There was no niece or nephew, whatever the child was. The cat completely lied. So the cat actually snuck to the church and ate some of the fat. So then the cat comes home, and yeah, the next day the cat makes up another cousin, another birth, and once again goes to the church and eats half the pot of fat. So then once again they wake up the next day, the cat makes up yet another cousin, gave birth. So then the cat goes back to the church and eats all the fat, completely all gone. So now after months and months, winter came, and the mouse said to the cat, all right, let's head down to the church and get that pot of fat. When they got there, the mouse found the pot empty. And then it all made sense to the mouse what was going on with the cat. So the mouse confronts the cat, and the cat basically kills the mouse and eats her. So yeah, that is a very morbid story. And these two had what seemed to be a lovely friendship, and the cat was still horrible and ate the mouse anyway. So yeah, so that's what this sketch that I wanted to draw is portraying, is the very final end moment where the cat pounces on the mouse and eats it. So I went in and did a church, sort of like a church altar with a cross on the top with a sort of a see-through scarf draping over the cross. And I did this jar of fat tipped over with a little bit dripping out, and the cat basically emerging from underneath the altar with the mouse in its mouth, blood everywhere because the cat has eaten the mouse. So yeah, that is the story, and that is the reason why I did the illustration the way I did, and I was once again looking forward to including blood back into an illustration. I've been missing my gory pieces, so I was very, very happy to draw this one. And as you can see by the video, I had a bit of a struggle with a few areas. One of the areas I struggled the most with was the cat's head and which way I was going to put the cat, and also the hand, the paw of the cat lifting up, because in the original sketch that I did, like always, the sketch that I did was way better. The cat's hand is a bit far away and there's a string of blood going from the paw to the mouse, and I decided to do it a little bit different in this one, but I feel as though the foot of the cat sort of got a little bit lost in the picture. There's a lot of elements that sort of, once I finished, I took a look at it and I sort of realized that a lot of the elements sort of blended in together, like the mouse and everything. Like I probably should have done different colors, but when I realized my mistake, I tried to go in once again with a white gel pen and try and break everything up and try to define everything. But yeah, I do tend to make very poor color choices at times. I think they're gonna work, and while I'm painting them, I'm like, oh yeah, it's working. And then when I sort of let it dry, step back or go and have a break and come back and look at it and go, yeah, no, that's blending in too much. And then at that stage, it's sort of like, oh well, I've got to try and fix it and hope to God that I do a good job at fixing it. So yeah, no, I enjoyed this piece, and I'm actually really enjoying doing these Brothers Grimm ones. I don't know, I'm sort of contemplating whether or not I want to do more of these regularly, more than the other series that I have. Let me know if you would like me to, if you would like to see a lot more of these Brother Grimm ones more than some of the other series, or hey, let me know below what your favorite series is that I have, and yeah, I'll try and do more of that if you would like me to. So I'll get to the sketchbook now before I get back to some other elements on the piece. The sketchbook, I really love this Artway Studio paper. I'm pretty sure it's like a 220 GSM. Don't quote me on that. Wait a sec, I'll find out. Okay, so yeah, the book is 19.5 centimeters by 19.5 centimeters. It's got 92 sides, so 46 pages. It's 170 GSM. Okay, so that's good. I know now. So, but the pages are really, really nice though. Like I really enjoyed, and I was expecting the pages to buckle a fair bit. They obviously did, but nowhere near to the capacity I thought that they were going to. Like I've had paper that's been thicker buckle more than the pages in this book. So yeah, I'm so far really impressed with this book, and yeah, I honestly believe that this could be my art book, my art journal and watercolor journal and sketchbook, because the price that I got it for was $27 Australian, And to me, that's cheap when you think of like Australia's pretty dear, like our conversion rate's pretty bad. So for me to pick up a sketchbook of this sort of quality and caliber for $27, to me that's extremely cheap. And the cover is very sort of like material. It's kind of like material. It's very sort of bumpy type. So I like it. I don't know if I'm going to do anything on the front yet. So like a design, I'm not too sure. But yeah, I'm going to basically call this sketchbook and this watercolor book, like it's going to be number one. So like I'm sort of going to start the books now with these particular journals, because I really, like I said, I have found this one and I do really like it, and I like the square pages. I tend to like to draw on different sort of shaped paper. That's why I tend to cut my paper weirdly sometimes, or cut it into different shapes and different squares and different sort of rectangles, just to sort of mix it up a bit, because I find this drawing on the usual A5 or A4 papers quite boring. And yeah, I like to sort of mix it up a bit. So back to the piece. Yeah, there was a few things, like I talked about, like the blending in with the mouse and all that, that I wasn't overly happy with. But I don't know, I like to put my own touches on these. Like I try not to keep, I'm trying to sort of modernize, if I can, these fairy tales, because they are so old, and I'm trying to add sort of modern elements into them. So with this particular cat, like this cat's probably supposed to be quite a nice cat, but because of what it did in the end, I don't class it as a very nice cat. So when I was designing this cat, I decided to put like this black scar type thing over its right eye, and I did the eyes quite blue because I wanted to have some sort of focal point. And I found, like, I was thinking of making the eyes a bit brighter, and I mixed a bit of green in with the eyes, because when I applied the blue watercolor, I thought to myself, oh, I wanted to make the eyes like a really bright green, and I'd completely forgotten that I wanted to do that. So I ended up chucking some green into those eyes, but it sort of didn't work. It really didn't work at all. And I had a bit of fun with the greenery on the piece too. I sort of have been really sucking at doing greenery and vines and trees and all that lately. So I really made sure that when I did this one, I really did it really nice, like all these beautiful like vines and leaves and all that, and I tried to make them quite different. And I didn't outline them at all. I left them and only just put a little bit of white gel pen into them, because I was really enjoying how they looked without being interrupted and spoiled by a black liner. And then I added some purple little flowers in there just to break up the colour a bit. And don't ask me what flowers they are, I have no idea. I just pulled that out of my head. I just decided to design them that way. And I tried to make the scarf that's draping over the cross very see-through. So I'm hoping I sort of tackled that really, like, I hope I did that justice, trying to sort of make it see-through, and you could see a little bit of the cross through it. So yeah, that was a little bit different, trying to experiment there with that particular sort of element. But probably the biggest thing, other than, like I said before, the blending in of the mouse and the foot and having that not be defined enough, but probably the most thing that I'm really unhappy with was the jar. I don't think I did the jar very well. If you go back and have a look at the beginning of this video, you'll see me rub that out quite a fair bit in my process, because I could not get it right. Yeah, that was probably the worst part of it all, was the jar. But I've never drawn a jar before, so forgive me, don't come for me. Yeah, so yeah, that's probably about it really. Just going in and adding the white gel pen now to sort of define, and added the blood as you saw, and yeah, overall I am very happy with this piece, and I am thoroughly enjoying, like I said, this Brothers Grimm series. And if you want me to draw more of these ones from the Brothers Grimm, let me know. Let me know if you want me to bring this series forward and do more of this one, because I'm sort of feeling it, and hopefully you guys are feeling it too, so let me know. Anyway, I am out of here. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and hopefully everyone's keeping safe and keeping your 1.5 meter distance from everybody. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.